Good day, everyone. My presentation for this day is all about the RPMS tool for Teacher 1 to 3 proficient teachers in the time of COVID-19, school year 2020-2021. So, before I proceed to the discussion about these different KRAs and objectives, let me present to you three characters who will guide us to understand these key result areas and objectives and the different indicators needed or MOV needed for the following objectives. So we have Teacher Joseph, Teacher Lloyd, and Teacher Mario. Teacher Joseph asked, "Guys, I want to know the different key result areas for Ipcrf of school year 2020-2021. Teacher Lloyd said, "According to the division order, we have these KRAs for the 2021 and 2020 to 2021 school year, and these are the following. KRA 1 is all about content knowledge and pedagogy. KRA 2 is diversity of learners and assessment and reporting. KRA 3 is curriculum and planning. KRA 4 is community linkages and professional engagement and personal growth and professional development. And KRA 5 is plus factors. Remember that these KRAs and the objectives under these KRAs are patterned in the different roles and responsibilities of a teacher 1 to 3. So Teacher Joseph said, "Please give me a detailed discussion, Teacher Mario, about these KRAs." Teacher Mario said, "For KRA 1, we have Objective 1, which is applied knowledge of content within and across curriculum teaching areas. The MOVs that are needed for this Objective 1 are the following. So first, we need to have a classroom observation tool or the COT rating sheet or inter-observer agreement form from the three options. So we have three options. So you need to choose only one or two from these options that will be used for the observation of your observer. So how many observations are needed? So we need only two observations for this school year. So we have the following options. The first is an online observation of online synchronous teaching. So this is just an online discussion between you and your students, and you will just invite your observer for the observation purposes. If option 1 is not possible, an observation of video lesson that is self-learning module based or MELC based align. So if option 1 is not available, so you can just provide a video lesson based from the module of your division or provided by your division, and then make a video presentation. You may upload this through Google Docs or through the what do they call this? Um, Drive, Google Drive, or you can also upload your video in YouTube if you have a YouTube channel, and then just send the link to your observer, and the observer will just watch your video. If option 1 and 2 are not possible, then it is the time now that the observer will have or will create a LAC session wherein there will be a demonstration teaching, and this demonstration teaching will serve as an option for the observation of the observer. So for the performance indicator, we only have quality, and to get quality, before we have the efficiency, the quality, and the timeliness, but in this portion for the objective 1, we only have quality. And to get an outstanding 5 a grade of 5, teachers should demonstrated level 7 in Objective 1, as shown in COT rating sheets Inter-Observer Agreement form. By the way, we only have 3 indicators for the COT. We have the Objective 1, Objective 5, and Objective 7 that I'll be going to tackle later on. So, as we all know, in the COT rating, we only have a rating of 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So the 7 will be the highest. So to get an outstanding of 5, you need to get or to demonstrate a level 7 in Objective 1 as shown in the COT rating sheet. So that is number 1 indicator in the COT rating, and that's under the Objective 1. Alright, moving forward for the objective number 2, ensure the positive use of ICT to facilitate the teaching and learning process. So here, you just need to provide any supplementary materials, either print, digital format, made by the ratee and used in the lesson delivery that highlights the positive use of ICT to facilitate the teaching and learning process. So, if you will choose in Objective 1 to provide a video lesson that will be sent to your observer, then you will be having also you can use that video lesson as well in objective number 2. Okay? So another, you can have your lesson plan that you will be gonna use for this video that you prepare for the observation. So we only need two MOVs for this particular objective. Ensure the positive use of ICT to facilitate the teaching and learning process. So you can choose here activity sheets if you want one lesson from self-learning module, audio lesson, or if you have another thing that is congruent to your objective number 2, so you can just put it as your evidence. Just make an annotation on how did you use it and how it is connected with objective number 2. So for the performance indicator, we only have quality, and to get the outstanding, so again, we only have quality here. There's no efficiency and timeliness. For as long as you can finish it for this school year 2020 to 2021, then that's it. You can use it as your evidence for objective number 2. So outstanding of 5, teachers should ensure that the ICT used redefine and transform learning experiences and are documented properly and consistently using any referencing style as shown in the submitted learning material. So each the material or the supplementary materials that you will be gonna provided in the objective number 2 should be documented properly, and it should be aligned with the proper use, of course, of the ICT. Okay? Now, for the objective number 3, again under the KRA1, applied a range of teaching strategies to develop critical and creative thinking as well as higher order thinking skill. So again, we have the same MOVs as in objective number 2. So the question is, if you use lesson plan and video lesson in objective number 2, can you use the same evidence in objective number 3? The answer is yes, for as long as your evidences still fitted to the objectives or to the objective number 3. For as long as it is fitted, if it is suited, it is congruent to the objective number 3, even though you use it in objective number 2, but it is also applicable in objective number 3, then you still can use that MOVs. Okay, so when you make an MOVs, make sure that it is flexible so that you can use those MOVs in all or in some objectives, in just in 2 or more objectives. Okay, so you can also use activity sheets, one lesson from self-learning modules, audio lessons, or other that is congruent to objective number 3, but please use an annotation to explain how did you use it and how it is related to objective number 3. So again, for this, we only have quality as a performance indicator, and to get the outstanding of 5, teachers should apply teaching strategies that challenge learners to draw conclusion and justify their thinking or put parts together to promote deeper understanding of ideas learned as shown in the submitted learning material. So to make it short, the video lesson and the lesson plan should have, if you use video lesson and lesson plans in your objective number 2 and you use it in objective number 3, make sure that that video lesson promotes higher order thinking skill to get an outstanding of 5. Okay, next. Now, Teacher Lloyd, please tell us about the KRA number 2. So we are done with KRA number 1 with 3 objectives. For this one, we have the diversity of learners and assessment and reporting. So for KRA2, we have objective number 4, establish a learner-centered culture by using teaching strategies that respond to the linguistic, cultural, socioeconomic, or religious background. So the lesson that you will, or the video lesson or the audio lesson, the lesson plan that you will be gonna provided for this objective number 4 should be a either linguistic, a cultural, socio-economic, or religious background, responsive, no? Dapat nagre-respond siya doon the strategy that you used. Okay, it should be a learner-centered culture. So again, we have the same MOVs in objective number 2, number 3, and number 4. If you wish to use the same evidence in objective number 2, number 3, and number 4, like video lesson and lesson plan, halimbawa, you used only 2, make sure that still it is congruent to the objectives. Okay? Kung pasok naman siya dun sa objective, then you can still use it. Okay, just make sure that in objective number 4, it should be a learner-centered culture. Okay, now for the performance indicator, still we only have quality, and to get the outstanding of 5, teachers should utilize effective teaching strategies that are appropriate in responding to learners' linguistic, cultural, socioeconomic, or religious background at an individual level as shown in the submitted learning material. So make sure that when you provide video lessons and lesson plans or audio lessons or activity sheets or lessons or any supplementary materials, make sure that it is very flexible to all the learning objectives so that you can use the same evidence in all these objectives. Kumbaga, hindi mo na kailangan mag-provide ng marami pang evidences. You can use two evidences, and then you can use these 2 evidences to all these objectives. Okay? Now, for objective number 5, just like what I've said, the objective that are present in the COT rating are objective 1, 5, and 7. So for objective 5, plan and deliver teaching strategies that are responsive to the special educational needs of learners in difficult circumstances, including geographic isolation, chronic illness, displacement due to armed conflict, urban resettlement, or disaster, child abuse, child labor practices. So, in here, in objective 5, it is said that when you plan or deliver a teaching strategies in your lesson, make sure that it is flexible. So that it means that students can, what they call this, can have an access, will be gonna have an access to your plan, to your material that you will be gonna provided, no? Kumbaga, pwede nilang makita yung material mo kahit nasan sila. Kahit siya ay let's say meron siyang trabaho ngayong araw na to, so wala siyang time, so pagka-uwi niya paggabi is pwede niyang panoorin yung lesson mo. So for as long as yung ginawa mong lesson or yung pinrovide mong material and in the observation is very flexible, therefore pasok na siya for objective number 5. Okay, so classroom observation tool or rating sheet or inter-observer agreement form will be used here. So again, we have three options. It's either an online synchronous teaching or a video lesson provided or a demonstration teaching. For as long as I think, for me, for as long as it is a video lesson, then it is suited to objective number 5, because if it is a video lesson, then you can just upload it in YouTube, because it is very easy to create a YouTube account. And then therefore students with different circumstances would be able to access your video lesson. So for the performance indicator, we only have quality here, and to get an outstanding 5, teacher should demonstrated level 7. So again, to get a 5, you should demonstrate, yeah, or have a grade of level 7 here in the COT rating. So again, I would like to remind everyone that we need two observation, COT observation. I mean, we need to have a two ratings for this school year. Okay. Now, for the objective number 6, use strategies for providing timely, accurate, and constructive feedback to improve learner performance. Meaning to say that that strategy is very timely, accurate, and constructive feedback. When you check the lesson, did you check them a week, then submitted them to your learners, something like that. So the MOVs that are needed for this objective number 6 are the following: evidences that highlights providing accurate and constructive feedback to improve learner performance, and that shows timeliness of feedback given to any of the following. So there should be a feedback. Okay, activity sheet, performance task, quiz or test, self-learning module. So the feedback can be through chat, okay, or you just wrote the feedback in the test paper of the students or activity sheets of the students and return them immediately. Then that's a feedback. Okay, that is suited in objective number 6. The question is, kailangan ba lahat ng mga activities from first grading to fourth grading ay kunin? No, not actually. You can choose only a representation of each grading period. You can choose maybe 2 or 3 examples of feedback or yeah, examples ng feedback na talagang nagsulat ka talaga doon sa, or marami kang isulat doon, I think. So, pwede mo magamit yon as your evidences. So, for the performance indicator of the objective number 3, we have 2, quality and timeliness. So, we need to follow the quality at the same time the timeliness. And to get the outstanding of 5 for teacher, they should provided learners with accurate and specific and directed constructive feedback. It should be constructive, okay? As shown in the evidence submitted. And the MOV submitted should feedback given within 5 working days from the submission. For me, it is very impossible for the for the submission. What if the students will get they get their, what they call this, their module every Monday, and then just submit it every Monday as well. So that is 7 days, not 5 working days. So you can chat your students regarding with your feedback, or you can justify your situation with your rater. Okay, I think that is very explanatory, and maintindihan naman siguro nila yon because we are in this situation we're in. It is not easy to go outside, right? So objective number 7. Selected, develop, organize, and use appropriate teaching and learning resources, including ICT, to address the learning goals. So you need to select, to develop, organize, and use appropriate teaching ICT resources. Okay. So what are the evidence or MOVs here? So again, this is a COT. Okay. So it is part of the COT. So again, you can choose any of the 3 options that I mentioned a while ago. And for the performance indicator under objective number 7, we have quality only. And to get an outstanding of 5, you should have a 7 grade in objective number 7 as shown in the COT rating sheet. Again, for the COT rating sheet, we have only 3 um, objectives. These are objective number 1, number 5, and number 7. Okay, you can choose whether you will do an online synchronous teaching, a video lesson that will be sent to your observer, or a demonstration teaching during LAC session. It's up to you what to choose among these 3 options. Make sure that you only do 2 videos only because we need only 2 COT for this school year. That's according to my reading, okay? So if I'm not correct, please just correct me to the comment section. Anyway, let's proceed to objective number 8. This set achievable and appropriate learning outcomes that are aligned with the learning competencies. That is objective number 8. Set achievable and appropriate learning outcomes. Of course, that is aligned with the learning competencies. So make a lesson plan or lesson from self-learning module prepared by the RATE-D with achievable and appropriate learning competencies as shown in the following: lecture discussion, activity or activity sheet, performance tasks, rubrics for assessing performance using criteria that appropriately describe the target output. Okay, in objective number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 6, no? No. In number 2, 3, and 4, if you use a lesson plan there, make sure that the lesson plan is a detailed plan so that you can also use it in objective number 8. It's very easy now because in if your lesson plan is detailed, it is complete, right? So therefore, it has an object, a learning competencies, and it's very easy and very nice for a rater to rate a lesson that is complete so that they can give you a higher grade for that particular MOV. So make sure that when you make a video and with the lesson plan of that video, make sure that the lesson plan is not just a semi-detailed but a detailed lesson plan so that you can still use it in all the objectives that I mentioned. Okay, in either in objective 2, 3, 4, 6, or 8. Yeah, and also the lesson plan should have the activity or activity sheet, performance tasks, or rubric for assessing performance. If you have a performance activity in your lesson, then there should be a rubrics. Okay, so for the performance indicator under this, we have the quality, and to get the 5 as the answer, all the learning outcomes set are aligned with the learning competencies as shown in the MOVs submitted. So for as long as it is in line, it is suitable with objective number 8, then you will get a grade of 5. If your lesson plan is achievable, if it is appropriate to the learning outcomes, if it is aligned with the learning competencies, then you will get a 5 for the quality of the objective number 8. Next is KRA4, we have objective number 9, build relationships with parents, guardians, and the wider school community to facilitate involvement in the educative process. So it is more on the community, right? That there should be a relationship between parents or guardians. So meaning to say that when you have a meeting or maybe an online convo, you should screenshots all of this so that you can use all these materials or evidences in objective number 9. So what are the MOVs under this objective number 9? First, proof of participation in any activity for improved access to education such as, but not limited to the following activities. First, distribution of learners' materials attendance. Obviously, if you are an advisor, of course, you distribute learners' materials, right? And the students and or the guardian who get the materials write their attendance, right? So you have that point for this MOV. Brigada Escuela with certification. If you have a Brigada Escuela during this pandemic, you should have a certification about this home visitation form and pictures. So if there is a student who did not who are not submitting their modules, then you made an home visitation, make sure that you have the home visitation form and pictures as your evidences for KRA 4. Objective 9. If you think that there is another evidences that are suited for objective 9, so just make an annotation on how you delivered or you do it and how it is related to objective number 9. Another for objective number 9, we have the number 2, MOVs, parent-teacher log or proof of the stakeholders meeting. So if you have a one-on-one conference with your parent, so you can save the video or maybe the attendance sheet with minutes of online or face-to-face meeting, pictures or other proof. So as long as you have only one among the mentioned example, so you can use that as an MOVs for number 2. For number 3, any form of communication of parents, stakeholders, stakeholders, noticing of meeting, screenshots of email, chat, text, just make sure to remove names and other identifiers. So if you have an email with your parents, yan, so you can use that as an evidence. So just make a screenshot and just remove their names and other identifiers like their cell phone numbers so that hindi sila ma-identify and to achieve the confidentiality of every details. Okay? For this particular what they call this objective 9, we have quality and efficiency. So when you are talking about efficiency, this talks about the number of MOVs provided. So to get the outstanding of 5, teachers should A, sustain engagement with parents, guardians, and or wider school community to facilitate involvement in the educative process as evidenced by 2 or more of MOV number 1 and 2. So for as long as you have an MOV, actually, if you have the MOV for submitted, if you submitted 4 acceptable MOVs, then I think you can get the quality. Okay, so how many MOVs do we need for KRA for Objective 9? We need 4 acceptable MOVs from the mentioned examples a while ago. Okay, it is more on parent and guardian relationship. Now, for Objective 10, participated in professional networks to share knowledge and enhance practice. So in this particular objective, this is more on seminars, um, another is benchmarking. So those are the professional networks. So what are the MOVs needed here? First, certificate of completing in a course or training. If you attend a course or training, so you should have a course certificate. Example of training that we attended during this pandemic is the LDM, learning delivery modality. If I'm not mistaken, that's 5 days, right? I'm not sure, but or 10 days training, right? The MELC, the crafting of MELC, etc. So you can use that if you have a certificate of participation in a webinar. So for sure, every division have the certificate of participation in a webinar, retooling, upskilling, and other training seminar or workshop with proof of implementation. Okay, for as long as there is a proof of implementation, if you have a pictures, I think you can use that as an evidence for as long as you can justify it to your rater if the division is not giving you a certificate of recognition, speakership in a webinar or other seminar. If you became a speaker in a specific workshop, then you can use that as an evidence. Any proof of participation to benchmarking activities, or any proof of participation in LAC sessions certified by the LAC leaders or coordinators. So if you have a LAC session in school, so you can use that as a proof or as your evidence in objective number 10. Or if you think that there is another thing that's related in objective 10, you can use this and make an annotation. Just write how did you made this kind of participation and or how it is related to professional networks. Now, for this objective number 10, we have the indicators, quality, and efficiency. And to get the outstanding of 5, uh, a teacher should participate in any professional networks activity that requires output and proof. So there should be an output and proof of implementation within the school to share knowledge and to enhance practice as evidenced by the submitted MOV. So, for instance, there is a you attended the LDM and there is an output, so you can use those output as an evidence for the quality. Now, how many MOVs are needed for objective 10? So, for objective 10, we need four different kinds of acceptable MOVs as mentioned a while ago. Okay? So, if you think tatlo lang yung meron ka and then meron ka naisip na i-annotate, so you can use that. Now, for Objective 11, develop a personal improvement plan based on the reflection of one's practice and ongoing professional learning. So this one is the personal development, the personal improvement plan. Okay? Saan natin pwedeng makuha to? Actually, you can get it um, in the SAT, self-assessment tool of your school. I believe that all of you were already made a self-assessment tool, and you can get your top 3 siguro, if I'm not mistaken, yung top 3 na pinaka nahihirapan, tawag dito, yung lowest, meron kayong lowest score, and you will need to have a personal improvement plan on how you gonna improve yourself within these 3 lowest indicators. I think that's how we do it in the SAT or the SAT. So what are the MOVs needed? So you should have the Ipcrf DP or the development plan. So you should have the reflections of one's practice during last sessions with proof of attendance. Next is reflection or personal notes on coaching or mentoring and or mid-year review. So it's more on reflection, no? As you can see in Objective 11. Personal notes, journal or division or school-led inset and proof of attendance. So again, it is also a reflection. Certificate of enrollment, registration form card, class card in graduate, postgraduate. So if you are studying now during this pandemic, so you can use that as an evidence in objective number 11. Any learning materials highlighting the improvement done based on the accomplished reflection section and others through annotation. So as you can see in objective number 11, it is more on reflections from the attended seminars, trainings, LAC sessions. And finally, another, for the performance indicator under Objective 11, we only have quality and efficiency, and to get the outstanding 5 grade, teacher should update the development plan and approve by the rater during the phase 2 of the RPMS cycle. So the phase 2 is nearer. I think this is on March. So there should be, you should have already the development plan. Submitted the Ipcrf DP with any of the 4 acceptable supporting MOVs as mentioned a while ago. And finally, for the Objective 12, perform various related works, activities that contribute to teaching learning process, or the what we call the plus factor. So as you can see in our RPMS now in this school year, we only have 12 objectives and 5 KRAs. So for the MOVs, we have the following. So first is committee involvement. So if you are part of the committee in your school, you can just ask a certificate from your higher ups or from your principal that you are part of this community, so that you can use committee, so that you can use this as an evidence in objective number 12. Advisorship of co-curricular activities. Involvement as module learning material writer. So if you are a writer in your division, so you can just add this as your evidence. If you are a validator of module in your division, you can also add this in your Objective 12. If you participate in a regional office, school division office, or school-initiated TV radio-based instruction, you can use this as your evidence in Objective 12. If you are an author in a book or journal or contributor, then you can use that as an evidence. Coaching and mentoring learners in a competition, if there is a competition in the in your school or in other places, as long as you coach and mentor learners, then you can use that as evidence. Mentoring pre-service teacher, but I'm not sure if there is a pre-service teacher here now. Pandemic, I'm not sure, but if there is, if you have this mentoring, then you can just have a picture with your pre-service teachers and use that as an evidence. Then participation in demonstration teaching. So if you do a demonstration teaching in objective number 1, 5, and 7, then you can use this as an evidence in Objective 12. Participation as research presenter in any forum or conference and others with annotation. So if you think there is another evidence that is suited in Objective 12, just make an annotation as a supporting document. So, what are the performance indicators? So, we only have quality and efficiency. To get the outstanding of 5, teachers should perform at least one related work or activity that contributed to the teaching learning process beyond the school community learning center as evidenced by submitted MOVs. And finally, you should have a 4 or prepared a 4 acceptable MOVs in objective number 12. So again, we only have 12 objectives in the Ipcrf of 2020-2021. We only have 3 objectives for the COT rating, Objective 1, Objective 5, and Objective 7. So that's all about for the RPMS tool for teachers 1 to 3, proficient teachers in the time of COVID-19 pandemic for the school year 2020-2021. Thank you very much for your listening.